We have got so much to discuss going into the FPL Game Week 25 deadline. We've got injuries to key players. We've got chips to be played. We've got chip strategy that we're going to be going through as well. And as well as that, we're going to be showing you my personal team at the end of the video, my personal transfer plans going into the next game week. Please do watch this whole video because we've got so much to discuss throughout the whole of it. We've got a lot of topics to be going through. We're going to be going through as many as we can, as quick as we can as well. So if you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, and let's jump straight into it. So we can't not start off the video with a Cody Gakpo potential knock. Now, there's no actual footage that has been properly released, but he limped up at the end of the, he limped up after 70 minutes when he got substituted. And then, as well as that, he was seen limping after the full-time whistle in the background of some shots, apparently, when Arne got sent off. You could see Cody Gakpo limping. Now, we're just going to have to wait and see for an update on this with Arne. There's going to be a press conference on Friday where we're going to be able to get concrete news on Cody Gakpo, hopefully. If he's not fit, then we might have to move him on to potentially a different player in a forward position. It's a difficult choice, maybe a Wissa or somebody. And then for me personally in my team, I'd probably be then going for Arne as my assistant manager if Gakpo is confirmed to be out. If Gakpo is fit for the game, chances are Gakpo will be staying in my side, and then hopefully just start both of the double game week games, because obviously, as we know, Liverpool do double game week again. Now, Mo Salah yesterday, of course, had an amazing game. 87 points on triple captain for the people that triple captained him, and as well as that 251 points so far this season. Now, if you haven't used any chips, you haven't used your assistant manager chip, and you haven't used your triple captain, I think this week against Wolves and Aston Villa is a perfect opportunity again to put your triple captaincy on Salah. It really should have been done last week if you did have your triple captaincy chip available to you, but if you've still got it available to you in game week 25, then if it was me and I had all my chips available, I'm 100% putting it on the triple captain Salah. This is the last chance pretty much with Liverpool getting knocked out of the FA Cup of Mo Salah of a triple captaincy. So for me, I will be putting it on Mo Salah. Unbelievable again against Everton. He didn't look too great in the game in terms of his overall threat, but it doesn't matter when you're Mo Salah. He gets 2 chances, gets an assist and gets a goal. That is absolutely what he does. So last week, a lot of chips were used, and Mo Salah getting triple captain by over 1 million managers, and he's absolutely repaid that faith. Arne Slot, disappointing, only 15 points with that last-minute goal, which gave David Moyes a 22-pointer. Now, if you have Arne Slot as your assistant manager, you just got to stick with him realistically and hope for 2 wins out of 2 against Wolves and Aston Villa, which you would, to be honest, expect. Wolves is a very confident win. Aston Villa is a little bit more suspect. We'll talk about that later on in the video. But obviously, a lot of people have David Moyes will be looking to move him on to either Arne Slot or Unai Emery, who we will discuss right now. So with Unai Emery, there is a few worries with Unai Emery. As you can see above, there's a lot of reasons to go against Unai Emery, with no clean sheets in the last 6 for Aston Villa. Consa's injured as well. He went off injured in the Spurs game, and they literally have Disasi as their only fit centre. I think Courtney House or Horse, whatever his name is, has come back from an injury. Or you think he's come back into the squad. I think he's available, but he's literally like a championship standard centre-back. Liverpool also lost 2-0 to Liverpool earlier on. Aston Villa also lost 2-0 to Liverpool earlier on in the season when they actually had their fit centre-backs as well. And they've also failed to win against Wolves and West Ham in their last 2 matches, but they did beat Spurs in the FA Cup. So Unai Emery's got the potential table-winning bonus against Liverpool, and of course that first game is against Ipswich at home, which I really would back Aston Villa to get a win against Ipswich at home, just due to the fact that Ipswich are right at the bottom, and Aston Villa's home record actually is very good at Villa Park. Only 1 loss throughout the whole of the season so far, and that is a good reason to be going for Unai Emery. It's 2 home games as well. It's at Liverpool at home as well as that. As I say, a potential table-winning bonus in that game. So you could get potentially some big points. We saw David Moyes get a table-winning or a table bonus extra points in that draw against Liverpool. The last kick of the game, unbelievable, by the way. But yeah, Unai Emery has got the potential for that, and he has got a very winnable fixture in the first game against Ipswich. So it is, I would say personally, even with the injuries, personally still a good option for an assistant managership. If you can't get to Arne Slot on an easy route and you have to take hits or whatever to get to him, there's absolutely none. It's unnecessary in my opinion. I think Unai Emery is just the one to go for as the assistant manager personally. But obviously that does kind of depend on the injury news of Cody Gakpo as well. As for Aston Villa assets for players, we already spoke about the defenders, how they're already injured. Ollie Watkins is a fitness doubt for the game, which is quite concerning. So with Watkins, it's not ideal. I mean, you won't really want to be bringing him in ahead when you don't even know if he's going to be fit or not. Unai Emery will have a press conference before the Ipswich game, so we'll be able to get concrete news on that. But right now, I wouldn't be looking at Ollie Watkins until he's absolutely nailed to play that game. Obviously, with Duran leaving, Watkins has got pretty good minutes now, you'd say, up front. A lot stronger now. He's obviously Marlon and Rashford could play in the forward line, can play in that number 9 position, but Ollie Watkins is without a doubt the number 1 choice. And Marlon and Rashford can also play on the wings, of course, which is their main position. So realistically, Ollie Watkins is definitely a good transfer in, but we've just got to know is he going to be fit for the game or not? And if he's not guaranteed, there's just no point going near him. As for Arne Slot, he did pick up a red card in the game at the end of the game against Everton, which is unbelievable scenes. But there's no points deduction, there's no taking any points off, there's no manager ban. It's fine. Arne Slot is still the exact same. He's got the exact same amount of points as what he would have had before, and as well as that, his points next week will count for that. Obviously, he's not going to be in the dugout for the game, but as I say, he will count. So it's disappointing for the Arne Slot managers who use their system manager chip on him because he's got a lot less than David Moyes. But it's not to panic. He'll be fine for the next game, and he's still fine to keep hold of because Liverpool are still the best team in the league, and you'd still expect them to do quite well in this double game week 25. But as regarding the blanks and the double game weeks going forward, so as you can see here, this is a nice little template that someone's done over on Twitter. So it's a small double game week this week, obviously between Liverpool and Aston Villa, who both have a double. And it says there, if you have all your chips left, it's best to use triple captain or assistant manager. I would say personally use your triple captain if you've got all your chips available. But an assistant manager chip is also very valid this week on Arne Slot or Unai Emery. Then after that, we have a blank game week, which is due to the League Cup final, which is Liverpool versus Newcastle. So that means that Liverpool, Aston Villa, Newcastle and Crystal Palace all blank. So when you're bringing in Aston Villa players, you need to be aware of the fact that they are going to blank in FPL game week 29. Now, the main strategy a lot of people are talking about, which I personally will be using myself, is the wildcard in game week 30. Now, in game week 29, we already know who's going to be blanking in game week 29. As I said, it's Liverpool, Aston Villa, Newcastle and Crystal Palace. So we can kind of build our team towards getting rid of those players and wildcarding them back in FPL game week 30, 31 or 32. Then ready for the double game week in game week 33, which is going to be a decent sized double game week from the FA Cup fixtures. And that's going to be the biggest double game week probably for the rest of the season. Then you can also, as I say, you'll know by game week 30 who is going to be doubling in game week 33, which then means you can build a team in a wild card which has 15 players which all double game week. And that is the best strategy in my opinion personally going forward. And then if you still got your free hit chip, which you should do, you then free hit players. You free hit in game week 34 because the players who double in 33 will most likely be then blanking in game week 34. So you free hit then, and then you've got all bases covered. And then there could be a potentially small game week, double game week 36 as well. Which again, if you still have your trip available, you can play triple captain or your system manager on that week. But ideally, I think you should be playing them early in my personal opinion. So that's the overall the strategy for me. I am going to be probably wildcarding in game week 30 or 31. I'm going to be building my team towards basically dead ending my team in FPL game week 29, getting rid of the Liverpool, Newcastle, Aston Villa and Crystal Palace players that I do have in my team. But you can also keep a few as well, just to be noted, because obviously you're not going to be able to play all 15 of your players. You can easily just bench a Mo Salah in game week 29 or bench an Isak, someone like that if you wanted to, which is a good way going forward. Then I'm going to be wildcarding in game week 30, 31 or 32, depending on how my team's kind of looking in that time and how many transfers I've got in that kind of situation. We're going to wildcard then into a team which they're going to have 15 players which are all going to bench boost in game week 33. So that's my personal plan going forward. I've also used all my chips pretty much. I've still got bench boost to use and I've still got free hit to use, but then other than that, assistant manager and triple captain have gone down the drain. So as for how my team's looking personally, as you can see, I do have my assistant manager chip active. It's still obviously on David Moyes, but that will be swapping to either. Now, it depends on this. So what happens with Cody Gakpo? We'll hopefully get some good news with him or bad news. Whatever the news is with Gakpo, say he's out injured, it'll be Gakpo most likely then down to joao and wissa, who's got a decent run of fixtures and plays in the game, the blank game in 29. So then it'll be Gakpo out, Wissa in, and then we would swap our assistant manager chip around from David Moyes to Arne Slot. But as well as that, I would like to make a midfield change. I would love to bring in Justin Kluivert, but the problem is with Kluivert that, well, I've got so many strong midfielders and midfielders and forwards already in my team. I'd have to bench one of maybe Chris Wood, mbuemo, or maybe I wouldn't even bench an Isak against Man City. So I'd have to bench either Chris Wood or mbuemo to then bring in Kluivert, because Kluivert against Southampton, there's no doubt he's going to have a very good game with them. Bournemouth should put a few goals past Southampton. So I'm missing out if I don't have Kluivert. So I need to make a decision on what to do. My bench is obviously Ahmad, so it will be Ahmad out for Justin Kluivert in. But that obviously depends on what I'm kind of thinking with who my benching dilemma. Because right now I don't really have a benching dilemma. Ahmad would just be straight on my bench. He is playing against, I think it's Spurs. It's still not even a bad fixture, to be fair, for Ahmad. But he's quite comfortably the player that will be sat on my bench without me really having to think about it at all. As for double game week players, for Aston Villa, we have Morgan Rogers. I don't really want anybody else. I'm not really looking at Ollie Watkins, to be honest, because realistically, I just have to get rid of him after anyway. And Isak's so good, it doesn't even matter for me if he's got one game week compared to Watkins too. It wouldn't even surprise me if Isak put up a score that's going to level Watkins' score, even if Watkins has 2 games. And we don't even know if Watkins is even going to play both the games as well. The other change that I could make is Pickford in goal for Martinez for Aston Villa. But Fabianski's out of the out of the West Ham team at the moment, which means that in blank game week 29, I'd then have to make another goalkeeper transfer. So later down the line, it does just create more issues for me, which ideal, as I say, I wouldn't really want. I want to be building my team towards having a full strength team for game week 29, so then wildcard out of it in game week 30, 31 or 32. So that's the kind of thoughts on the team at the moment. As I say, Gakpo could potentially leave for joao wissa. Ahmad could potentially leave for Justin Kluivert. And as well as that, the assistant manager will be changing to either Arne slot or Unai Emery, depending on the situation with injuries going into the game, which hopefully we'll find out in the press conference. So that will about do for the video. If you enjoyed it, do drop a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.